That's a dangerous combination, no?
Well, for the Baltimore Ravens, you're right. It's simple. In order to protect a rookie quarterback like Kyle Bowler, you serve up a huge dose of Jamal Lewis. And the way that this San Diego Chargers defense has struggled and their inability to stop the run, it's going to be simple. They have to run the ball against the Chargers. If the Chargers can't stop it, it could be a long day.
San Diego has won the toss on the return. Through the middle. And Tim Dwight is cut down after a 23-yard gain. And the Chargers will open up with the football. Let's take a look at the San Diego offense led by Drew Brees. A 5-4 record at home here at Qualcomm. See what the numbers look like this season. Offensive line, Brees has the veteran Vaughn Parker on that right side, and backs and receivers, the very dangerous David Boston back in the lineup after a heel injury kept him out of the lineup a week ago. Play action on first down. Brees has the time. Safety valve. It's Tomlinson along the sideline, and he is spun down at the 26-yard line. A gain of 3. Reed and Hartwell combining to make that stop. San Diego coming off a 37-13 loss to Denver in their home opener, and this is a final now. New England has knocked off the Jets 23-16. Jets drop to 0-3. The Patriots improve to 2-1. The rookie from USC, Grant Matos, has come into the game. Matos in motion. Little chicanery, but the first man through. Tomlinson gets the call, and not much there as Kelly Gregg is ready to make the stop. 3-yard gain. Defensively for the Baltimore Ravens, last week they limited Cleveland to just 13 points. We just talked about Gregg, and he will be responsible for clogging the middle against Tomlinson. Linebackers, Ray Lewis. Huge day last week as Lewis came up with 14 tackles. And in the secondary, some changes. Chris McAllister benched for violating a team rule. So Will Demps, the San Diego State product, steps in, plays free safety, and Gary Baxter moves over to cornerback. 3rd and 5, 3 wide receiver look. Brees on a rollout. Throw it into traffic, and it's broken up. He was looking for the tight end, Justin Peel, and Demps, the California native, is there to make the play.
Yeah, Demps was able to make the play, and that's really what San Diego is missing with Steven Alexander out. Peel comes in. He's really their 3rd tight end, and so they're missing that presence. Demps comes in, excellent man-to-man coverage, and they're able to get off the field on 3rd down.
And first appearance for punter Darren Bennett, now in his 9th year in the NFL, with Lamont Brightful waiting at his own 24. David Binn will snap it for the Chargers. Bennett, high punt, Brightful, fair catch signal, and he brings it in, just brings it in at the 34-yard line. That's a 38-yard punt. Offensively for the Baltimore Ravens, Kyle Bowler, last week 7 of 17, 78 yards, an interception, and 3 sacks, and they won the game. That's because Jamal Lewis was so dominant. Offensive line, Casey Robach steps in for the injured Edwin Mulitalo at the left guard position. And of course, Jamal Lewis leads the backs and receivers, the NFL Player of the Week. Runs of 82 yards and 63 yards, both touchdowns in that win over Cleveland. Lewis tripped up, and he was tripped up by his QB, Bowler. Jamal Williams involved in the stop along with Moreno for San Diego. Let's look at the Chargers defensively right now. Marcellus Wiley is still looking for his first sack of the season. We talked to him. He felt he would get one here today. Linebackers, Donnie Edwards, think he has a big assignment, trying to spy on Lewis throughout the day. And in the secondary, Quentin Jammer. A lot of responsibility for the second-year pro from Texas. On 2nd down, Lewis brought down quickly. Chargers know what the game plan is. It's a loss of 1, and Wiley in on the tackle.
Wiley is working at the left end, and he's going up against the left tackle, Ethan Brooks. And you see he'll just come underneath, and that's where he gets the penetration. Coming underneath Ethan Brooks, he actually goes outside, then slants underneath, and he's able to get to the legs of Jamal Lewis. And that's what you want to do, is get penetration, stop the running game before they can get going.
And Wiley told us priority number one, stop the perimeter run. That's where they've really been susceptible first two games. Bowler forced to throw it. Rifles one, complete. Marcus Robinson, 10-yard completion. Ravens first possession, they're forced to punt as Baltimore comes up a little bit shy of a first down. San Diego, nothing to show for their first possession. And Dave Zastudil will punt it for the Ravens. Eric Parker is deep, standing at his own 14-yard line for San Diego. Zastudil, high sailing punt. Parker moves forward, catches at the 19. Tried to break free at the 21, could not. As the Ravens special teams got down the field in a hurry. 38-yard punt. No score here in San Diego. The Ravens and the Chargers, first quarter. Back at Qualcomm, let's go downstairs. Bring in Scott Kaplan.
Thanks, Ian, very much. I appreciate it. You know, I got to tell you, this game seems very obvious. It's just going to be about the running game. But I was talking to Matt Cavanaugh before the game, the Ravens offensive coordinator, and I was also talking to Drew Brees, and both men agreed that whoever can make a play in the passing game, that's the team that's going to win today. Back to you.
No doubt, the scuttlebutt all week has been run, run, run because of the talents of Lewis and Tomlinson. And here's Tomlinson through the middle. Spun around just short of the 30-yard line. Solomon Page with a key block, 6-yard gain for the man they call the offensive LT.
Yeah, they have to get LaDainian Tomlinson going, and hasn't really had that breakout game yet this year, but you could see his numbers. Only 14 carries per game so far in his first two games this year, averaged 23 carries a game in all 16 games last year. So they want to get him more touches, and they also want to get David Boston involved early in the ball game.
On a 2nd and 4 for the Chargers, Tomlinson again, this time off tackle, through a hole. And Tomlinson fights his way for a first down, the right side of that line. Page and Vaughn Parker providing a little extra space.
Can't tell you how demoralizing this Ravens defense will be if they continue to pick up chunks of yards like this by running LaDainian Tomlinson. The strength of this defense for the Ravens is their run defense, featuring Ray Lewis and their fast-flowing linebackers. The more they can be successful running the ball, the San Diego Chargers, it really is going to help them to wear down this defense. Then they're going to take some shots down the field in the passing game.
And a new set of downs for the Chargers to work with. 1st and 10. Ball spotted just short of the 35. Brees. Handoff. Tomlinson makes a cut. Great move by Tomlinson. And skips out of bounds at the 47. He made Gary Baxter miss in a 12-yard pickup.
And tackling is really all about angles. This is going to break. They're going to come here and then bounce it outside, and there's Baxter at the bottom of your screen. He's normally playing from the middle at that free safety position, but this is a different angle for him. So he just whiffs, and this is where LaDainian Tomlinson is so effective. In one-on-one situations, he often will be able to beat the defender and pick up extra yards.
And maybe something we could talk about throughout the day, the lost art of tackling in the NFL. A Jamal Lewis can crack 295 yards.
It's all grabbing, and no one's bringing a helmet.
And some trickery. Tim Dwight, like he was shot out of a cannon, accelerates into Baltimore territory for a 9-yard gain. It was Cornell Brown that got him down low, and his helmet came off.
Good play calling by Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator for San Diego. We saw some of the straight line running off tackle, and then they come back by faking the run to the left and bringing the play action. They know that this defense is fast flowing, so they're trying to catch them off balance, get them going one way, and then counter with the reverse coming back the other way.
San Diego has not been forced to pass the football on this drive because the running game has been so effective. Maybe a shot here on 2nd and 1. No. They go fullback, and they go Pro Bowler Lorenzo Neal. 3-yard gain and a first down.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer, he likes the blue-collar football. He knows he wants to be able to run the football. That's been his M.O. for as long as he's been in the National Football League. And it really starts up front with that offensive line. But bringing a player over like Lorenzo Neal, he's a Pro Bowler. He's blocked for 6 different running backs who've rushed for 1,000 yards. And that's going to continue here. You know LaDainian Tomlinson is happy to see the arrival of Lorenzo Neal.
You see Schottenheimer's numbers. Last year started 6-1. Everybody was talking about the Chargers, and then they limped down the finish. Tomlinson this time had nowhere to go as Kelly Gregg lost his helmet. It's a loss of 1. Ed Reed also involved in the stop. Well, for the head coach of the Ravens, Brian Billick, brought this team out here on Wednesday. I think there were some thoughts of maybe getting timeshares for the players. They've been out here so long. And you had some real estate agents salivating at the possibility of, maybe leasing an apartment.
Yeah, he kept his team on that Eastern time zone, and he was getting them up at 5 o'clock each morning. I just don't know if I could function at 5 o'clock in the morning, but he got his team up early to practice this week.
Now we'll talk about his thinking as a flag comes down. Could have been Vaughn Parker moving on the right side of that line. And we will hear from Bill Levy.
Snap. False start. Number 70 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It is Parker who got caught on the penalty. Well, Brian Billick really pounded home the point that it was important for them to stay on Eastern time. This is before the game, 12:19 Pacific, and then good camera work, get the watch of Brian Billick and the reaction as well.
Yeah, and he said the biggest concern was not just getting his team to adjust to the time here, but once they go back, trying to get them to adjust back to the Eastern time zone. Felt it was much easier to stay on one time.
A 3-receiver look on a 2nd and 16. Tomlinson. Great cutting ability by LaDainian Tomlinson as he takes it to the 40-yard line. 7-yard gain. Ed Hartwell will be given credit for the tackle. 3rd and 9 upcoming for San Diego. Ed Hartwell now in more of a leadership role, and you say, well, how could that be defensively when you have Ray Lewis? Well, he didn't have Ray Lewis a year ago.
Yeah, Lewis was out for 11 games last year with that shoulder injury, and Hartwell was the guy who really stepped up and had really consulted with Ray Lewis and became one of the leaders on this defense, and now they have several guys who can lead this defense.
Dime package for the Ravens. Shotgun Breeze steps up, has the time. Breeze throws, complete. Tim's White has a first down at the 23-yard line of Baltimore. 17-yard hookup.
You might ask yourself, why was the White so wide open there? Well, they're actually at the top of the screen. 2 defensive backs are covering David Boston, and his presence allows Tim Dwight to get open underneath the zone coverage. They're rolling that zone coverage over the top of David Boston, and that's what they hope to get. Guys like Tim Dwight open more in this offense with the presence of David Boston on the football field.
And maybe it's fitting Tim Dwight wearing that throwback uniform because he's been a bit of a throwback player.
He really is. He'll hit you.
On a give, Tomlinson dances his way across the 15. 8-yard gain, Gary Baxter got him down low to make the stop.
Yeah, this offensive line, they'll block down here. He'll start, and then he'll come, but watch the stutter step. He actually buys time, and he's so much more of a patient runner, breaking right off the back of Lorenzo Neal. And you see him set up the defenders, and he's able to pick up extra yards. And he makes the offensive line that much better. This is a running back who only needs a crease. He doesn't need a gaping hole.
And a 2nd and 2. San Diego is on the move from the 15-yard line. Give it to Tomlinson, and he's tripped up. No gain on the play as Ed Reed read it perfectly and shot the gap.
This is where Drew Brees said he was most concerned about this Ravens defense. He said, you can move the ball on them. We will be able to do that. But getting down into the red zone is where they have struggled. Haven't had a touchdown in 4 possessions down in the red zone, having to settle for 2 field goals. And that's where they're going to have to improve today. Look for them to maybe take a shot with David Boston. He's a big guy. He's matched up against Gary Baxter. Maybe he can go over the top and come down with the football.
11th play of the drive. A 3rd and 2. Again, a little bit of trickery. On the game, turning the corner. It is Boston. Not in the passing game, but as a runner. And a first down, 5-yard pickup.
Now, he's big, he's strong, 240 pounds, and he runs a 4.3. And he'll just take this one. He does get really good blocking. He's able to make a defender miss early on and then able to turn up the speed and pick up the first down. But he's a guy that's really got to make some plays in this game by catching the football. That's where he's going to make the big difference. $47 million. You expect to get a lot more out of David Boston.
4 different Chargers have carried the ball at least once so far for San Diego. We will hit the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. First down from the 10. On the pitch, Tomlinson sweeping to the outside and can't turn the corner. A loss of 1. Will Demps has 40 friends and family members here today. San Diego State. It was a treat for him to come out west early, see a lot of old friends, and practice on the field he was so accustomed to as a member of the Aztecs.
And he was a guy that was a starter in his rookie season and then goes to the bench and give way to Gary Baxter to move to that starting free safety position. But as you said, with Chris McAllister out, Gary Baxter goes to the left corner. Demps is getting a start here in San Diego, and he's looking to make some big plays. 2nd and goal now from the 11. Play clock was winding down, and Drew Brees takes a timeout. 3:22 to go. We're in the first. San Diego to look at a strike first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 38. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Big problem for San Diego so far this season, playing from behind, unable to establish the run. They're looking to change all that right now.
Yeah, as long as they can stay close, they can keep feeding the ball LaDainian Tomlinson, and good things are going to happen.
This drive is approaching 8 minutes elapsed off the clock. 2nd and goal from the 11. Brees throws too low. Lorenzo Neal in the area, and Ed Reed making contact as the ball came to the vicinity of the fullback.
And it was just good coverage this time by the Ravens secondary. They didn't give Drew Brees anywhere to go with this football, and you can see Ed Reed breaking on the ball and getting the knockdown.
Now Brees in his 2nd year as a starter. Ed Reed in his 2nd year as a starter. You got a lot of young up-and-coming players being featured here today.
Very good young football players.
14th play of the drive. Shotgun. Brees keeps it himself. Brees running and caught at the 6-yard line. On a 3rd and goal from the 11, Drew Brees trying to do it himself. Ray Lewis, the tackle.
And I really don't like that call. There's no way Drew Brees is going to run a quarterback draw and outrun Ray Lewis. He is used to tracking down some of the fastest running backs in the National Football League. I think you've got to take a shot with one of the fade routes or a slant route. David Boston is so big, give him a chance to make a play on the ball.
The veteran Steve Christie knocks through a 24-yard field goal, and San Diego settles for the 3-0 lead. These fans are ready. So are the players. San Diego Chargers have suffered 5 straight losses here at home, looking for their first win of the 2003 season. They have a 3-0 lead. Christie on the kickoff. Chester Taylor from the 10 for Baltimore. And Taylor brought down short of the 30-yard line as Kasim Osgood on special teams makes the tackle. 19-yard return. Ravens on offense when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. And by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
Beautiful day here in San Diego with the Chargers leading at 3-0 over Baltimore. Ravens have it, a 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line after the field goal from Steve Christie. 2 tight ends set on 1st down. Bootleg. Here's Bowler rolling out on a flip for Heap. And Heap is angled out of bounds by the strong safety, Kwame Lassiter. 7-yard gain. Well, Jamal Lewis, his number 31 jersey, has been sent to Canton, side of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because of those numbers. 295 last week.
And he really could have had 300 yards rushing, becoming the first back in the National Football League to do that. But when your name is next to O.J. Simpson and Walter Payton and now Corey Dillon, that's a lot to feel good about. And he's really trying to get an encore performance here today.
He had 100 yards rushing in just 2 carries last week. Right now in 2 carries, -1. Catches the football, though, and accelerates. Exhibits that speed that Lewis put on display a week ago as Donnie Edwards was chasing him down. It's a 1st down. Well, what did these players do the week after. It was O.J. Simpson that backed it up with another 200-yard game.
Yeah, and that's why Jamal Lewis comes into this game salivating, looking to break all of those rushing marks, because this defense, the San Diego Chargers, ranked 29th in the National Football League, so he thinks he can have a big day again here.
8-yard gain off the pass from Bowler and a first down for Baltimore. Play action, Bowler throws the deep ball down the sideline and out of bounds. It was Travis Taylor in a matchup with Quentin Jammer. Incomplete. St. Louis and Seattle, as you take a look at some other scores around the NFL, all tied up. Arizona with the early lead on Green Bay. Go figure, and the Giants get a touchdown to take the lead over Washington.
Giants trying to bounce back from that Monday night game, a game they really had in their hands and let slip away.
A nightmare ending for the New York Giants. Early morning hours on the East Coast, about 1:03 in the a.m. against Dallas. 2nd and 10 for Baltimore. On the pitch, Lewis darts ahead, loses the football, and it's scooped up. Ricard is running with it. Alan Ricard is gone. Touchdown. The Baltimore Ravens get a touchdown after the cough up by Lewis.
A very unlikely play by Lewis. He said that he and his fullback Alan Ricard had been working together this offseason. I don't think this is what he had in mind. He'll take it because he fumbles, and his fullback has his back because he recovers it and takes it to the house to put the Baltimore Ravens on the scoreboard.
Solomon, Donnie Edwards told us, we will strip the ball from Jamal Lewis in this game, but little did they know that it would turn into a touchdown the other way.
Yeah, you have to get the football, then you have to read and react and recover. That time, the Chargers defense wasn't able to do so.
Adrian Dingle knocked it loose. And Alan Ricard puts the Ravens in front as Stover tacks on the extra point. Fullback Alan Ricard with a 50-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. San Diego feels like they're doing the right thing. They're stopping Jamal Lewis early, yet they still get burned.
And yeah, Marty Schottenheimer's biggest concern, he said that, hey, we have not shown that we can overcome the early adversity. Well, adversity is struck here early in this ball game.
Tim Dwight from the goal line. Looks for a lane. Flag is down, and Dwight is tackled out across the 25-yard line. Adalys Thomas making the stop. And penalty against San Diego. Once again, Bill Levy.
Illegal block in the back during the return, number 85, return team. At the distance to the goal, first down.
Let's go back to the field. Scott Kaplan.
Hi, and thanks very much. You know, Solomon was just making a point that Marty Schottenheimer talked to us about this week. This is not a San Diego team that's built to come back. They've had injuries at wide receiver, injuries at tight end. They're trying to get their running game going, and they haven't been able to because they've been behind so often in this early part of the season. They're not built to come back, and they're down early. Back to you, Ian.
Well, thanks, Scott. And a little disconcerting when you get into the red zone and you don't even take a shot to the end zone.
Yeah, they threw 2 passes underneath, and then the quarterback draw. It makes no sense. You have to get the ball into the end zone.
Handoff, Tomlinson trying to burst through the line. He picks up 4 yards, running off tackle.
Scott made a point about what Marty Schottenheimer said. They do fall behind early in ball games, and they're not able to stick with the running game. And LaDainian Tomlinson is the best thing they have going for this offense. He does so much in terms of protecting the quarterback. And so when you can't give him the ball, give him his carries, this offense is really going to struggle.
In addition, a challenge for Schottenheimer, trying to convince the young players when a play is over, it's over. Don't dwell on it. You've got to forget about the Ricard fumble recovery. Trying to make something happen here. David Boston, a first down. Corey Fuller, the coverage. Now keep in mind, we talked about it top of the show. Chris McAllister is not in the stadium today. McAllister violated team rules. The word is he did not make curfew, did not show up early the next morning for a team meeting, and was told by Brian Billick, don't go to practice, you're not playing this week.
And it's so disappointing because you bring your team out early, you know it's a business trip, and unfortunately McAllister, you know, he's not making good decisions because he can be one of the best players in the league at his position if he gets his head into it.
First down.
Late flag, 12 men on the field in the huddle. And a mistake.
This Chargers, they're a young football team, but at some point you can't use that as an excuse. You have to really be able to make the plays and make the right decisions. This is football, and you need 11 players on the field no matter what level you're playing at.
Well, both teams highly penalized in the first 2 weeks. Baltimore 20 penalties, San Diego 19. Right now the Chargers 3 penalties costing them 19 yards. End of the first quarter. Baltimore with a 7-3 advantage. Start of the second quarter here in San Diego. Baltimore 7, Chargers 3. Iron Eagle, Solomon Wilcots. Scott Kaplan with you from Qualcomm Stadium. Chargers looking for their first win of the season. Baltimore trying to move to 2-1 on a 1st and 15. Tomlinson waits for the hole to develop, and it just wasn't big enough. Ray Lewis made sure of it along with Kelly Gregg. 1-yard gain. Coming up, Nextel halftime report. Jim, Dan, Dion, and Boomer have all of today's scores and highlights. Week 3 in the NFL. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Now Ray Lewis has to just recognize now that there is another Lewis that's going to get recognition as a member of the Ravens. That's Jamal.
That's right. Jamal Lewis is no longer known as the other Lewis on this football team, making a name for himself.
On a 2nd and 14, Breeze dumps it off. Tomlinson. Oh, what a pretty move out across the 25-yard line, and a penalty marker down. It's coming back. Kelvin Garman in a matchup with Peter Boulware, the left guard, number 63 for San Diego. And he got caught on a hold.
Yeah, all Garman had to do was just shield off Peter Boulware. He got a little too aggressive.
Number 63 offense. During the run, at the distance to the goal, repeat 2nd down.
If you're an offensive lineman, you have to know who you're blocking for. A guy like LaDainian Tomlinson, all you need to do is shield off the defender and give him one way to go. And he's going to take it, and the running back's going to make a move. Tomlinson is so talented, you don't have to hold. You don't need a big hole, just enough to really shield off the defender and give him just a slither of daylight.
And the penalties already piling up for this San Diego team. And that was a costly one, as Tomlinson did a great job after the catch to create. Now they're staring at a 2nd and 22.
Yeah, he doesn't need much to work with. Just a little bit. And I think as an offensive lineman and the fullback, you have to understand the guy you're blocking for, because he's so talented and he can make a lot of things happen.
Early stages, 2nd quarter. Breeze, play action, pump fake, and a throw. Sideline toss, caught by Boston. Gets up and runs after the play. A flag came in. Gary Baxter, the coverage along that far sideline.
And this is the matchup we're talking about. It's over on the right side of the football field, and he'll just go and try to get outside and on the top against Gary Baxter. And this ball's underthrown a little bit, but at 240 pounds, you're 6'2", you can shield him off, go up like a rebound in basketball, and that's what he's able to knock Baxter down and still come down with the football.
Penalty marker, pass interference against Baltimore. San Diego declines the penalty. It was Gary Baxter, the guilty party. So a 1st down for the Chargers, and that is the dimension that Boston brings that they just didn't have a week ago.
Yeah, and watch how he has to wait and come back to the ball, and that's where the contact is made. But see, he's playing the ball, but see how he's still able to maintain his body position and come down with the football.
2nd catch of the day, 47 yards for Boston. He had 2 receptions for 20 yards in the Week 1 loss to Kansas City. And a 1st down for the Chargers. Tomlinson running into a crowd right at midfield. Lewis and Hartwell collaborate to bring him down. 2-yard gain.
And they have been missing David Boston in the first 2 games. He's been out with a bruised heel, but his presence on this football field, as we were told by Marty Schottenheimer, is not only going to allow the other receivers to make plays, but, you know, he's such an imposing presence at 6'2", 240 pounds. If you have to start bringing the defensive backs deeper in coverage, it's going to allow LaDainian Tomlinson more room to run with the football.
We asked Drew Brees about the chemistry. He was honest. He said it's still a work in progress. They're still trying to get the timing down. Across the field, the timing works there. Boston on a stunner step move. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker. And it's a 15-yard gain into Baltimore territory.
Well, we told you they wanted to get him involved early in the ball game. And you have to allow him to work under the coverage. He's a big guy. That's what he does really well. He's not only does he have the speed to get up top, but he's a big guy. You can send him over the middle of the field. He's not afraid to take a hit because he's so big and strong. And he's also a big target for the quarterback, Drew Brees.
Solomon Page, the former Dallas Cowboy, starting right guard, is on his back. Bob Hallen is getting ready to step in when we come back to San Diego. After the games, log on to NFL.com. Watch custom video highlights of your personal fantasy team. It's only at NFL.com or at NFL on AOL. Solomon Page was helped off the field. So now Bob Hallen, 6-year veteran, former Atlanta Falcon, and Page is being carted off the field. Hallen has stepped in at right guard and a penalty flag. Page, who stepped in for the injured Tonio Finotti, the very young and talented guard.
Ball starts. Number 63, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Finotti is out for the year because of a foot injury suffered before the season even began. So now they are going very deep on the right side of the line with Bob Hallen.
That's the second penalty on this drive so far on Kelvin Garman at left guard.
And the 5th penalty overall against San Diego. So the line of scrimmage is now the 40-yard line with a 1st and 15. 12:10 to go. First half. Baltimore with a 7-3 lead over San Diego. A fluke touchdown for the Ravens. And off Tomlinson. Unable to break free from that first wave, but he does pick up 6 yards. A good effort as Kelly Gregg grabbed him around the ankles.
Well, they've gotten LaDainian Tomlinson off to a good start. He's busting it off tackle, and he's making defenders miss. And the thing is, he's getting good blocking up front initially against a very good defense for the Baltimore Ravens. But when he gets into the open field, that's when he's at his best, because he can make players miss and take it to the house.
And part of that factors into the time of possession right now. 15 minutes for the Chargers, 3 minutes for the Ravens. Yet it's Baltimore up on the scoreboard. Play action. Brees steps up. Long ball. Looking for it. Incomplete. Baxter and Tim Dwight in a one-on-one matchup near the goal line.
Now this pass is Tim Dwight, he gets on top. He's going to come from here, and he's going to come right up the middle of the field. They get the matchup they want. They have Dwight, the speed of Dwight against Baxter, and see, he's on top. You have to lead him into the middle of the field. He underthrows him, allowed Baxter to make a play on the ball.
And it sets up a 3rd and 9. Time of possession continues to build for San Diego, but it doesn't do you much good when you're trailing 7-3. Brees out of the gun. On a 3rd and long, Brees fires, contact, no flag, and it was Dwight who got mixed up, and he's hurt.
Now, I don't know if it was intentional interference, but he was certainly interfered with. It appeared as though Baxter ran right up his back and stepped on the back of his leg, and that's when he went down. You see Baxter match up against Tim Dwight, and the ball's going to be thrown over the inside. Now see the trip? See, he run right over the back of his leg before the ball arrived. So that's pass interference.
And Dwight remains on his back following the play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM, official information technology partner of the NFL. KFC. KFC's popcorn chicken is back, and it's bigger and better than ever. Get some today. And by Chrysler Crossfire. Dreamed in America, crafted in Germany.
Tim Dwight walking through the tunnel to the locker room after being shaken up following the contact with Gary Baxter. On a 4th and 9, San Diego is going for a long field goal, 53 yards. Christie, he'll punt it. Little pooch towards the sideline off the fake field goal attempt, and trying to pin Baltimore back. They will to the 13-yard line. The snap came directly to Christie, and he did his job. Baltimore, though, leads it 7-3.
Welcome back to San Diego. The Ravens leading the Chargers by a score of 7-3. 11 minutes to go here in the second quarter. The Chargers have lost Solomon Page so far. He's been taken in. They're examining his left ankle. As for Tim Dwight, he too is having his left knee examined. He walked off bloody, but his return is questionable, Ian.
2 early injuries for 2 starters on offense for the Chargers. Ravens take over on a pitch. Lewis able to take it to the outside, and Zeke Moreno chasing him down. It's a 5-yard gain. Has your fantasy football league manager let you down? Well, it's not too late to switch to Fantasy Football Commissioner on CBS Sportsline. Just click on Fantasy Football at CBSSportsline.com or at CBS Sportsline on AOL.
Baltimore Ravens trying to stay balanced. 4 runs, 4 passes. But this is where they get down to business and let Jamal Lewis begin to take over.
Quite a difference 1 week makes. 118 yards last week in the first quarter. Only 2 rushing for Lewis in the first quarter today. Bowler throws to the perimeter, and Frank Sanders has a first down for Baltimore. 6-yard gain.
And that time Sanders was wide open. Quentin Jammer giving tremendous amount of cushion over there for Frank Sanders, working on the right side of the field. But look at that. That's some 10 yards, and then he runs inside. I don't know if Jammer knew what he was doing on that particular play. He told us when we spoke with Jammer that, hey, I'm in my 2nd year now. I have a better feel for what's being asked of me. But on that play, he appeared to be lost, giving Frank Sanders way too much room.
Sanders' 2nd catch as a Raven, now 5 shy of 500 for his career. Lewis brought down quickly by Dingle. A 2-yard gain. We should mention right tackle Orlando Brown is now in the game. They will rotate depending upon quarter and series, along with Ethan Brooks at that right tackle position. So Zeus now gets the call on the right side.
Well, I like the way the Chargers defense has really answered the call early on, not giving up a tremendous amount of rush yards to this Baltimore Ravens football team. This offensive line is pretty good here in Baltimore, and right now the San Diego Chargers are playing stout in terms of their run defense.
Clinton Portis tore up this defense a week ago. Priest Holmes did the same in week 1. Lewis not having luck here today. Bowler almost had it intercepted by Donnie Edwards. He had 5 picks 1 year ago and had a great opportunity at an INT there.
Well, it really starts with the pressure on Kyle Bowler. The middle linebacker, Zeke Moreno, number 57. Look at the hit there. He catches the right arm of Kyle Bowler, throwing that pass off. Allowed Donnie Edwards to nearly come away with the interception.
Charger fans getting vocal. Third and 8 for Baltimore. Bowler in the pocket. Tuck it and run. Bowler, and a flag down. He was caught from behind. DeQuincy Scott, a backup defensive tackle, makes the play.
Illegal contact foul. Number 59, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Donnie Edwards.
Yeah, that's the early adversity that Schottenheimer was talking about. Edwards was matched up against the tight end, Todd Heap. Not many linebackers can stay with a guy like Todd Heap. He's so big, he's so fast. But if there is a linebacker, I believe it's Donnie Edwards. He's very nimble, very quick. But that time he used his hands, and he got hold of the jersey of Todd Heap. And, you know, the officials are going to see that one every time, because the back judge is always watching the tight end as he releases from the line of scrimmage.
Donnie Edwards told us they have so many new players defensively that has been a problem in the first 2 weeks, trying to find a little bit of a rhythm defensively. And on that particular play, it's the veteran Edwards who gets caught and costs San Diego a chance to get the football back. It would have been 4th down. 1st and 10, double tight end set. Lewis emerging through a hole and fights his way for a 9.5, 10-yard gain. Mike Flynn and Casey Rabach
And this is where the Chargers have to be careful. They motion, get everyone over here, and you see they just come right in here. But he's going to bend it back somewhat because they get everyone fast flowing over to the right side. Now watch him cut up. You see he's just looking for a crease, and he doesn't run this one outside. That's where Jamal Lewis is very good. He presses the hole as if he's going to bounce it outside, but he has great vision and the quickness to cut it back.
And a first down for Baltimore. Pitch. Lewis hurdling to the outside. Jamal Lewis. Alan Ricard with a key block. That's an 11-yard gain, and now it's Lewis who's getting the rhythm on the ground.
Yeah, he's coming to life. Marcellus Wiley said he runs with great animosity. He's a raging bull.
Angry.
But yeah, that's right. You could see the quickness of feet we were talking about. He hurdled a defender as he was able to race around the corner and get outside. So we've seen him do both now, turn it up the field, and we also seen that he has the quickness to get around the perimeter.
We asked Lewis, how many times have you watched the game from last week? He said, I haven't watched it yet.
He's yet to watch it.
And most guys, you're going to put that on 10, 12 times. Flag down, Bullard throws, complete. Into San Diego territory as Frank Sanders hauls it in at the 26.
Yeah, it's going to be holding. This one's going to come back. But what a throw by Kyle Boller.
Holding. Number 78, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
A 20-yard pass play is negated after the hold from Orlando Brown. And the first penalty of the day for Baltimore.
Yeah, the problem with the Chargers defense, they have not been able to get the pass rush with a four-man rush. Marcellus Wiley, he said that, hey, I'm going to be matched up against Ethan Brooks and Orlando Brown. That time, Wiley was able to get the pressure. Orlando Brown forced to make the hold to keep Wiley from getting the sack.
So first and 20 now for the Ravens. Back to their own 44. Bowler on the give. And Chester Taylor getting a rare carry through the middle for a pickup of 4. Clock is moving. 7:27 left. First half. And now Taylor will go to the sideline. Lewis back on for Baltimore.
Yeah, they can bring in Chester Taylor, but this offense last week against the Browns, they rushed for 343 yards. 295, of course, went to Jamal Lewis. But whenever they bring in a Chester Taylor or they allow the fullback Alan Ricard to run the ball, this offensive line is still getting a good push.
Offensive line is the heaviest in the NFL, an average weight 329.5. Lewis running hard on a 2nd and 16. Kwame Lassiter, the safety, makes the tackle, and that's a 6-yard pickup for Lewis.
The reason why it's important to continue to run the football, we said that the San Diego Chargers, they answered the early challenge of really trying to stop this Baltimore Ravens running attack. But as you wear down, as the game goes on, can you stop that running game in the third and in the fourth quarter? Do you wear down? They've been now on the field for a number of snaps, and it appears as though they're allowing this team to gain yards by the chunks.
On a 3rd and 10, Bowler steps up, throws. Low throw to Marcus Robinson, who comes back for the football, and it's ruled incomplete.
Marcus Robinson matched up against the rookie Sammy Davis, and this is just a comeback route. He's going to push him up the field. He uses his hand to push. Now you got to come back to the ball, and that's where he's got to work back to the ball. He should have actually made that catch, Marcus Robinson. You got to work your way back to the football, and it won't end up at your feet, and you won't drop that pass.
Second punt of the afternoon for Dave Zastudil. Eric Parker standing at his own 10. Left-footed punter, Zastudil. Very high. Parker will let it sail over his head. It takes a bounce at the 1 and into the end zone for the touchback. 47-yard punt, but a net of just 27. It's 7-3 Baltimore.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nextel Coast to Coast Walkie Talkie. Nextel, done. And by Castrol Syntec. Everything else is just motor oil.
Coming up, Nextel halftime report. Jim, Dan, Dion, and Boomer have all of today's scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. San Diego takes over 1st and 10 from the 20. Tim Dwight is back in after an apparent left knee injury. And LaDainian Tomlinson picks up 4 yards on the carry. So Dwight's okay. Went back to the locker room and reappeared on the field.
This Baltimore Ravens defense is not used to giving up a lot of rush yards, but so far 79 rushing yards in the game for the San Diego Chargers. 57 of those go to LaDainian Tomlinson. So I think they're doing enough to keep this defense off balance. I think they have to continue to work the ball to Boston and try to make some big plays in the passing game.
Just over 5 minutes to play now. First half. Dwight the motion man. Give it to Tomlinson. And a first down run for LaDainian Tomlinson, or is it, depending on the spot. Had to get to the 30-yard line. Bob Hallen with a block to help spring him loose. And just a little bit short.
And that time the Ravens were bringing the house. They blitzed the strong safety. Ed Reed, he was coming, and then the linebackers also, and they almost popped one.
Solomon, you want to try to catch an earlier flight? This game is cruising.
It's moving fast. As much as both teams want to run the ball, the clock is going to run continuously.
Bag of tricks. Tomlinson gets it back for Breeze. Looking for it all. Boston extending. Incomplete.
Well, I got to tell you, it was a well-thrown ball by Drew Brees. You have to give Gary Baxter all the credit because he was beaten on the play. But he was able to dive and extend, and see, it's going to throw out here, but this is where it starts, right there, because while they're handing the ball off and throwing it back to Breeze, David Boston is on top of the defense. Now, this ball is going to be thrown out in front, but watch the dive and the extension. And he rakes at the arms of David Boston, and that's where the play was made defensively.
What's the thinking, though, on 3rd and inches? The element of surprise?
Well, he was open, and that's the thing. The play worked by design. It just wasn't well executed.
Darren Bennett on the punt. Play clock's at 0. And whistles blow.
Prior to the snap, delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
San Diego has controlled the action for the most part here in the first half, yet they trail 7-3, and they're punting now deep in their own territory.
And another thing about throwing the ball on that 3rd down play, Marty Schottenheimer came in and he told his team, hey, we're going to have to be patient. We really can't expect to blow this defense off the line of scrimmage and run the ball. We're going to have to be patient and stick with the running game, and over time he believes that it could be successful. They've been good early on, but they're going to take some shots in the passing game to keep the defense off balance.
Lamont Brightfield from the 29. Brightfield driven back. And a sea of powder blue. Making the play on special teams. Kevin House, the first man there. Time for our NFL.com fan poll question. How long will it be before we see a 300-yard rushing game from a running back? This week or next? Sometime this season? Next year? Sometime this decade? Or somewhere between the years 2010 and 2019?
I think it could happen sometime this season. There are trends in the National Football League. The last 2 years have been a lot of throwing the ball. Teams are going to the running game. 15 teams last week threw the ball, or I should say ran the ball 25 times or more. 13 of them won.
Log on to NFL.com to cast your vote. Here's Lewis up the gut. And Jamal Lewis picks up 3.5, maybe 4. Jason Fisk involved in the stop for San Diego.
You talk about rushing for 300 yards in a game. Didn't Jamal Lewis nearly have it last week? And if it wasn't for a penalty that took 12 yards away from him, he would have been well over 300 yards. So it almost happened last week with this football team.
Lewis had 30 carries a week ago. Did not catch a pass. He didn't have to.
He sure did.
On a 2nd and 6 from the 24. Bowler. Off the play fake. Long throw. And Taylor can't bring it in. Had his man beat down the sideline. Quentin Jammer.
The Jammer was able to get a hand up just enough to distract Taylor. See, he gets the jam. Okay, now you have to start running. So you got to turn and run, Quentin Jammer. You allow him to get on top. Watch this ball hit the hands of Travis Taylor. See, right through his hands. You have to question as to whether or not Quentin Jammer was able to get a hand up enough to distract the vision. But when that ball hit your hands as a receiver, you've got to catch it.
Young Quentin Jammer didn't have an interception as a rookie. Has one in his second year. A physical, aggressive corner who plays bigger than he really is. Todd Heap sets up as a receiver. Bowler forced to get rid of it in a hurry. Under heat and short of a first down. Terry Jones Jr., the tight end, makes the catch.
It's just a fine play by Kwame Lassiter, the free safety. He knows they're blitzing, knows it's going to be a three-step drop. If you're not going to pick it off, you better be able to make the tackle. Don't allow any yards after the catch. Get your defense off the football field. Wasn't able to pick up the first down.
The San Diego Chargers had a players-only meeting on Friday morning. What's your opinion on that? Do those work? Does it depend on the dynamic on the team?
I think it depends on the dynamics. Depends on who's talking, but more than anything, you have to be focused in your week of preparation, then carry it onto the football field.
Zastonville punting. Parker, the return man. And he is walloped. Adalys Thomas down the field in a hurry. A 47-yard punt. No return for Parker.
We're seeing some plays made in the special teams area from both football teams in terms of covering punts.
2:51 left to play, first half. And premiering Tuesday here on CBS, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service takes any case that threatens our military, even on Air Force One. Mark Harmon stars in Navy NCIS, premiering Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego looking for its first win of the season. They are 0-2. Ravens enter action at 1-1. Chargers with a 1st and 10 from their own 23. Breeze over the middle. Justin Peele, the tight end, with an injury to Steven Alexander, injury to Josh Norman, injury to Rashae Caldwell. The depth at wide receiver and tight end being tested early in the season for the Chargers.
And that's where I think this offense needs someone to step up at that tight end position. You have the playmakers everywhere else. You need someone to really control the middle of the football field in the passing game.
7-yard gain, 2nd and 3. Fake the handoff. Breeze flushed out of the pocket, throws short. And Tomlinson gets nailed by Ray Lewis. No gain on the play.
Why is it that when Ray Lewis makes a tackle, you don't even need to look at the number. You just see the cloud of dust that raises up. That's right. He's so quick, so explosive when he comes to make a tackle, unlike anyone else in the National Football League.
Had 14 tackles last week and a fumble recovery in the win over Cleveland. His presence has been felt here as we hit the 2-minute warning, 2nd quarter.
We're back in San Diego where David Boston has missed significant time in the preseason, and right now he doesn't even know the play. He was like, hey, someone help me out here. But look down here. You can see one of the coaches are telling him, here's what you need to do. But it's what happens when you miss significant practice time.
That was prior to the last play as Breeze makes the connection. And Tim Dwight in a collision. Will Demps. And it looks to be short. Let's see. They placed the football just about at the marker. They might have gotten a favorable spot there. And they'll take a measurement.
Yeah, very difficult to tell, but it's going to be close. I think it's about a half-yard short.
San Diego passing yards leading that category. And way up in total yards, but trailing 7-3 on the board.
Well, they're doing a lot of things right in this ball game, and I think offensively keeping this defense off balance is the best thing they could do, and they're going to have
half a yard the right way for San Diego.
I was way off.
So a 1st and 10 for the Chargers at the 34-yard line.
And this is where you're going to continue to see them mix in the run, the pass. LaDainian Tomlinson off tackle, allow him to cut back, and then take some shots deep in the passing game.
Well, Drew Brees told us that the preparation has been a lot smoother for him, and this is 2nd year. His confidence is way up, yet they still don't have a win. Brees steps up and will throw on 1st down. Tomlinson to the sideline and out of bounds before he gets to the marker, but he does stop the clock with 1:36 to play in the 1st half. That's a 9-yard gain.
So hard for one player to bring down LaDainian Tomlinson in the open field. Corey Fuller thought he had a bead on Tomlinson. He gave him one fake to the inside, then bounced it back outside and picked up significant yards on that play.
Tomlinson told us he knows there are going to be days where he gets the football 25 times, 30 times a game. He said this would be one of those days. He's got 15 carries so far today and now 3 receptions. Dwight goes in motion behind Breeze, and now he'll catch it. Dwight. Tim Dwight has lightning quick speed when he gets to the open field, and that's a 13-yard gain in the passing game. And Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, has been creative today.
Yeah, it was well-designed play. Watch number 63, Kelvin Garman. He gets out in front, and then Drew Brees drops the ball off where Dwight does not have to break stride. He's able to use his speed and continue the momentum up the field. So it was well-designed and just a perfect play called on that particular play.
And now a 1st and 10 at the 45 of Baltimore. Kasim Osgood, the rookie from San Diego State, now on the field, set up wide, goes in motion. Out of the shotgun, Breeze. Steps up, Breeze in some trouble. And throws it incomplete. Flag down. Chad Williams appears to be the guilty party, number 49 for Baltimore.
Pass interference. Number 49 defense. Automatic first down.
And there you see, this is Eric Parker, number 88, just trying to find an open lane. But see, he grabs the back of the jersey, Chad Williams does, and that's where the official's calling for pass interference.
So a 1st down for the Chargers at the 42 of Baltimore. 1:24 left, 2nd quarter. San Diego's defense has absolutely done the job in this 1st half. Now the offense trying to make something happen. Shotgun Breeze. Steps up on a pump fake. Breeze throwing. Long ball up in the air and incomplete. Ed Reed had a chance to make an over-the-shoulder interception.
Yeah, he wanted to get that ball up top to David Boston. They had it covered really well. And you're going to see the cornerback here. Then you got safety on top. They're all aware of where David Boston is right now. So they try to do the pump fake. There it is. And one safety bites, but then here come Ed Reed over the top. So you have 3 players defensively who are paying attention to where David Boston is. That's making it very difficult to get the ball to him. But Ed Reed, he's a playmaker. Normally would not drop that interception.
And Ed Reed said this defense got humbled week 1 in the loss to Pittsburgh. They turned it into a positive week 2. And a 4-receiver look. Handoff. Tomlinson. Cutback. LaDainian Tomlinson gets to the outside. The creativity of Tomlinson as he made Baxter miss, and he turns what looked to be a 2-yard gain into 13.
What a luxury for an offensive line to know you don't have to block everyone in order to pick up yards. Watch the move here. Woo! Right there on Gary Baxter. He goes flying by, and Tomlinson is able to gain even more yards. He says, hey, you block most of them, I'll take care of the free guy myself.
There was a lot of talking this week with Jamal Lewis quoted as saying Tomlinson was no match for Ray Lewis. We asked LaDainian about it. He said, I do my talking on the field.
He's talking loud with his performance so far here in the 1st half.
16 carries, 75 yards, and a 1st down for San Diego. Breeze avoiding the rush. Breeze gets rid of it, and out of bounds. Incomplete. Eric Parker was in the neighborhood.
And you have to be able to appreciate the poise shown by Drew Brees. He's able to buy more time. He's not taking off and running it like he would have done at this time last year when he became the starter. He's just buying more time, trying to help his receivers to get open, and just really showing the savvy and poise of a veteran quarterback in this, his 2nd year as a starter.
And a 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line coming up for San Diego. Chargers outscored 64-27 in their first 2 games of the season, trailing 7-3 here. Breeze sets it up underneath for Justin Keel, and he scampers out of bounds, veering to the outside after a modest 3-yard gain. Stops the clock with 55 seconds left to play 1st half.
3rd and 7. Drew Brees talked about how he's concerned about getting down into the red zone, not being able to convert into touchdowns. Well, you're at this position on the football field right now. on the 26 or 27-yard line. It's a really good opportunity to take a shot in the end zone.
San Diego takes a timeout. They only have one remaining. More second quarter action when we come back. Ravens 7, Chargers 3, 55 seconds remaining. We are in the second quarter. Terrell Suggs, the rookie from Arizona State, getting worked on, applied some pressure on Breeze earlier in this drive. And Suggs is laid out on his back as the trainers tend to him. 3rd and 7 for Breeze and the Chargers. From the 27-yard line, and this play never happens. Flags come down. 7 penalties so far against San Diego.
False start. Number 89, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's David Boston, and that's number 8 against the Chargers.
Well, all 3 receivers for the Chargers were going deep, and Boston wanted to get the extra step on the defensive back trying to race to the end zone. You have to show the poise and patience of a veteran football player. He's a fast guy, but that time he was too fast.
11 penalties last week. They already have 8 this week. We have not even hit the halftime break. Now a 3rd and 12. Breeze from the gun. Rush is coming. Breeze in some trouble. Able to get rid of it, but Tomlinson couldn't catch it. A hot potato. Peter Boulware providing that heat on Drew Brees.
It was all about the pressure that time. Breeze was setting deep, trying to get the ball to the end zone. That time the offensive line failed him. He didn't have time to even set up, let alone get rid of the football and throw it up the field.
And now a 50-yard field goal attempt for Steve Christie. His long last year was 53, career long 59. Christie leans into it, and it is wide. No good. San Diego has nothing to show for this drive as Ed Reed is hurt, grabbing at that left knee.
And they're already down one of their starters in the secondary. They could ill afford to lose Ed Reed.
7-3, Baltimore maintains the lead.
Now on this play, watch Ed Reed. He's the second man from the end. He's going to try to go underneath the wing back. He's going to catch his right knee on the leg on the up back as he tries to go over the top to block this kick. And it was just like a whiplash to his right knee. We can only hope that he's okay after having a huge game last week in Cleveland.
Well, Reed is just picking up where he left off last season. A huge rookie campaign. And last week, he intercepted Kelly Holcomb of the Browns twice, the second of which he returned 54 yards for a touchdown. He told us from Little League on, he has been a leader, and in just his second year, he is in fact one of the leaders of this very respected defense.
Yeah, this Ravens secondary was torched in week 1 by Pittsburgh Steelers, and he responded last week against Cleveland, coming away with those 2 interceptions. So he's showing the leadership that's needed.
It's been a quiet day offensively for Baltimore, but they have 3 timeouts to work with here with under a minute to go. First half. Long throw by Bowler and nobody home. It was Todd Heap, the intended target down the sideline.
Well, it's nice to see that Kyle Bowler is cutting loose with that strong arm. So many of his deep throws so far this season have been under throws because he's been sort of guiding or aiming the football.
Ed Reed now getting the early exit to the locker room. Only 40 seconds left in this second quarter. Now for Bowler, he's 5 of 10 throwing the football 36 yards. Baltimore has had 1 play on offense, and it was a fumble by Jamal Lewis, scooped up by Alan Ricard for the touchdown. Now it's Lewis. Shake and bake move across midfield. And into San Diego territory at the 42. Zeke Moreno with the tackle. 18-yard burst for Lewis.
And the Chargers defense can't go to sleep just yet. 31 seconds left. They can still, Baltimore Ravens can move into field goal position and go up by 10 at the half.
Baltimore uses a timeout. They still have 2 left. Well, coming up Monday, an all-new Late Show. Dave and Dr. Phil go at it again, plus a special top 10 by the newly crowned Miss America and music legend David Bowie. Don't miss an all-new Late Show Monday right here on CBS.
Yeah, he's the best.
Who's the best, Bowie?
David Letterman,
oh, Letterman.
of course.
He is the best. 7-3, Baltimore leads it. Matt Stover getting ready for the potential field goal before the halftime break. Right now we're looking at a very long field goal. They still need yardage here with 31 seconds left. Play action. Bowler steps up. Wobbly pass. He was hit. As he went with the follow-through, Marcellus Wiley finally getting into the pocket.
And that's what Marty Schottenheimer has wanted from Marcellus Wiley, coming in on the hit. But Bowler, he's having some problems so far in his early career. Last week throwing the interception to Little, and he's taken some hits. But he didn't look any worse for wear when he came into our meeting. And after hits like this, he's got to be a really tough kid. But I got to tell you, he came into our meeting yesterday, and he looked as fit as ever.
He's got 200 friends and family from the Valley here today at Qualcomm. He's not dealing with the tickets, though. His parents are in charge of that. Bowler, draw play. Lewis busting it to the outside, breaks one tackle, and then is met by Sammy Davis along that sideline for a well-earned 4 yards. Ben Lieber, first time I've called his name today, whiffed on Lewis initially.
That was a whiff because it was a strong stiff arm by Jamal Lewis. He said he's been taking boxing lessons in his hand-eye coordination, the quickness of that hand. It's almost like a jab.
Well, Lewis, his body fat was reduced from last year to this year from 12% to 6%. Guys like me are actually going the other way on that, unfortunately.
You're headed north. He's going south.
He's cutting it by 50%. He is a physical specimen. 19 seconds left in the first half. Bowler bootleg. Throwing, darts one to Todd Heat. And good yardage for Heat. And a first down at the 30-yard line. Donnie Edwards able to track him down along the perimeter. 6-yard gain. 13 seconds remain. Now, Baltimore has options when it comes to field goals. Of course, Matt Stover is the main man, but any long field goals, they'll send in the former Charger, Wade Ritchie, who knocked down a 56-yard field goal last week.
Right now, with 13 seconds left on the clock right here, I think you have to try to get deep. You have to, about 7 seconds it takes to complete a long pass of 30 yards, so you have to try to get a shot, I think, down to the end zone.
Only 13 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Baltimore driving. Bowler sets it up. Lewis breaks a tackle. It's like the same play over and over again for Jamal Lewis as he is forced out of bounds. Donnie Edwards unable to bring him down initially.
Oh, that was a very dangerous pass because at the same time that Jamal Lewis made the catch, Donnie Edwards was right there. He was a step away from nearly picking that pass off, and had he taken it back for a touchdown, there would have been strong regrets on the Baltimore Ravens side.
No injury there for part of the crew on the sideline, just a lost shoe. This will be a 49-yard attempt for Matt Stover. Zaskedil will hold it. Stover's kick is good. Matt Stover from 49 yards away. As time runs out here in the first half at Qualcomm, Baltimore extends the lead.
And Stover, he's a strong leg. He was a guy that's been scoring a lot of points for the Baltimore Ravens. And you can see he still has the aim and has enough leg to squeak it in.
The reliable Matt Stover tacks on to the Baltimore advantage as we go downstairs to Scott Kaplan.
And thank you. I'm with Coach Billick. Brian, it was not what you wanted, I'm guessing, here in the first half, but you do have the lead nonetheless.
Well, defensively, we need to tackle better. That's uncharacteristic for us. We seem to be in the right spot. He's a great back, making some great plays. We got to tackle better. Offensively, we've had a pretty good rhythm. We've had opportunities to hit down the field. All we have to do is catch the ball.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Ian, back up to you.
All right, Scott, thanks very much. Despite the fact that the San Diego Chargers have controlled the clock and have doubled the Ravens in terms of yardage, it's Baltimore with the lead. Next, no halftime report coming up.
Sunday Ticket is brought to you by Damon's Grill. CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report, sponsored by Nextel, nationwide walkie-talkie.
Hi, everybody. Jim Nance on the Nextel halftime report. The road team won 4 of the 7 early games today. Let's go to Foxborough first, where the Jets failed to win up there for the first time in 6 years. As the Patriots win it, they had a run back for a touchdown of a Vinny Testaverde interception. It was Asante Samuel, a rookie, running it back for what would be the winning touchdown. Pittsburgh, a touchdown by the bus today. Bill Cowher, 17th time he's defeated the Cincinnati Bengals in his career. The Bengals fall to 0-3. As do the Jags today. The Colts a perfect 3-0. Reggie Wayne, 10 catches, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Colts have never lost to Jacksonville, 5-0 all time. Kansas City goes north of 40 for the 2nd straight week. The Texans home opener spoiled there by Dante Hall's punt return for a touchdown, and Priest Holmes finding the end zone twice in the first half. And Tennessee improves to 2-1 on the year. Steve McNair, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And Eddie George, 100 on the number and a touch. Nice bounce back by Tampa Bay today, 31-10 over Atlanta, holding Atlanta to 29 yards rushing, 136 yards overall. And Michael Pittman busting free today for 82 rushing yards, 82 receiving yards, including a touchdown. And Warren Sapp even caught a touchdown in that Tampa victory. And it was Minnesota over Detroit. The Vikings opened their season with 3 divisional wins. They've won 7 of their last 8 against Detroit. Again, a perfect 3-0. Culpepper ran for 2 scores in the first half before a back contusion kept him out of the second half. Gus Frerotte piloted Minnesota the rest away and threw a touchdown in the second half. We'll continue. Highlights coming your way in just a moment.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report, sponsored by Nextel, nationwide walkie-talkie.
And welcome to the Nextel Halftime Report from our NFL Today studios in New York. At halftime, Tomlinson out rushing Jamal Lewis, but the Ravens lead here. Dan Dion and Boomer alongside, and what do you see there, Paul?
No points. I will tell you this, that the San Diego Charger defense and offense are playing relatively well. LaDainian Tomlinson, I just said 75 yards. Nobody can run on the defense of Ray Lewis. Let me just tell you something. Well, he is doing it, but they're just not getting any points, though. That's the problem. No points. You got to get points. Only 30 points in the last 10 quarters for the Chargers.
All right, guys. You ready to go through the scores and highlights here?
Let's do it.
Give me your papers. Here, come on. No! Give me the papers.
Bring
all the papers right now. Here we go. Cleveland and the 49ers. Just a pair of field goals here for San Francisco. And Kelly Holcomb hobbling around. He may be replaced second half. Ike Holt has a touchdown for the Rams, leading at Seattle. Green Bay, Favre with a touchdown pass. And Blake has run one in for the Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Giants, 3 Collins touchdowns, 2 of them to Ike Hilliard. Take me through the earlier stuff here, fellas.
Testaverde puts it up 43 times because there's no running game. Picked off right here by Samuel. And I tell you what, Herman was a little frustrated about the fake field goal that failed.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have the doomsday defense to sit over there and say, hey, we're going to shut these guys out. It doesn't work that way. So we got to score touchdowns. And if I want to take a chance, I'm going to take a dadgum chance.
Hey, Jim, look at me. No papers. Here's Pittsburgh Steelers. Heinz Ward. Touchdown.
Good job, Boomer.
I'll tell you, it's unbelievable. But, hey, it was the rebirth of Jerome Bettis. And we asked Jerome, what were your goals going in today's game?
Our goal was to run the football and run it down their throats. And, you know, it was tough in the first half, but we got to go in there in the second half, and we just kept it going.
And Peyton hits Reggie Wayne in the end zone. He has a big game. Peyton talks about the win.
Reggie had the best game he's had as a Colt. And a lot of that credit, believe it or not, has to go to Marvin, because Marvin is drawing so much double and triple coverage. Reggie did a great job catching the ball and doing some good things with the ball after the catch.
My colleagues sound angry, but Priest Holmes right here scores his 2nd touchdown, 89 yards rushing, 67 receiving. Dante Hall, 73 yards on a punt return.
Oh, everything's okay in Tennessee. Steve McNair, he hurt his finger and his knee last week, and all he's doing is throwing touchdowns. Here's another one to Drew Bennett. Tennessee back on the winning side. They are now 2-1.
And the Bucs defense dominate once again. Tell us how a 300-pound receiver, Warren Sapp, gets up for a touchdown. Tell us, Warren.
Well, John had put it in about a year ago, and I was going to get it in the Super Bowl where we had a penalty. And it's just one of those deals where he told me this morning, look out for it, because I think it's going to be the first call. And kind of threw me off in the pregame, but I had to get back to playing D and make sure we were rock solid, and everything will take care of itself on offense.
Culpepper, quarterback / pullback draw. This is his 2nd touchdown of the game, but he leaves never to return in the second half with a lower back injury. Harrington on the opposing side, 3 interceptions on the day, But the replacement, Jim, what is his name? Gus Frerotte. I didn't even know he still played. He hit Kelly Campbell right here on a 72-yard touchdown. Moss also 3 receptions for 85 yards on the day.
How about Frerotte?
He uses paper, though.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
notes.
Hey, but the Vikings have won 6 straight games. You go back to last year. And this year, 3-0 with 3 divisional wins.
That's a really good
Very
point.
impressive
That's
stuff.
a really good point.
Second half coming up in San Diego.
He gave
Put
us
away
a
your
nice nugget.
papers.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report, sponsored by Nextel Nationwide Walkie-Talkie.